America, Tampa Bay. And a shout out to local congressman and
All right, hello everybody. Welcome. It is Monday night after a very, very long weekend. Jonny, Torres, your host as always. We appreciate you watching, listening to the Yard Sign whenever, wherever you may be doing so. We also thank you for subscribing to the audio version of our podcast. And if you haven't done so, we are very much on your favorite podcast platform. Just search for the Yard Sign, subscribe, like, follow, and if you're on YouTube, make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss a single episode. We're working on, always working on getting great guests and interviews, and so you want to make sure you don't want to miss anything. So make sure you subscribe, like, follow, and share so we can spread the word as we have 23 days to the election. Let's go ahead and run down the rest of tonight's topics as we have a familiar table to opine on this week's news and topics. So we'll break down, how the races are looking as we are now just a little over 2 weeks away from Election Day. Tulsi Gabbard officially leaving the Democratic Party. Not a huge surprise to anybody that's been watching her pretty closely, but certainly one of those things where, you could just see the writing on the wall based on a lot of things she's been saying ever since the Democratic or her race for the Democratic presidential nomination a couple of years ago. And is AFT dead? Here in Tampa Bay, we had a push for a tax increase. Yes, a tax increase in the middle of the worst inflation in American history. But the measure died before he could even get on the ballot, or some of the ballots anyways. So we'll talk about AFT. And then racist Democrats continued as the part that's not supposed to be said out loud was literally said out loud in a recording that was surfaced over in LA County in California, as it has now cost the job of one city council woman who has resigned since then. And there's some nuances there you wouldn't expect. So that's going to be a fun one to talk about. So let's go over to the big table. Joining us is Anibal, David Cabrera, Nate Ginter, familiar faces here on the show. Thank you, gentlemen, as always, for joining me. How we doing? Feeling all right? I think everybody's a little tired from this weekend.
I just want you to know I did subscribe to your YouTube channel today.
Nice.
So
there's a YouTube channel?
It only took you 3 shows to do it.
But don't worry, I'm here all the time. I have yet to even log in.
Well, I was going to say he hasn't even done it yet, and
he doesn't even share it. He doesn't even share he doesn't even share the show.
No one's watching.
His wife doesn't even know that he's on the show.
Well,
she thinks I'm at a Bible study, right?
That's right.
Well, I think we all know that's not true.
Oh, goodness. Anyways, there was a long weekend, but certainly, let's see. Hang on. So according to, we may not be on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Is that the thing?
Dude, you got Zucker banned.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, might need sometimes, you got to refresh the authorization.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Those darn security measures.
You would, of all people, should know.
Well, absolutely. So for those who don't know, I run a small IT and security company.
No one's listening right now.
I know. That's okay. When they go back through the archives to somehow find when one of us finally has some success in life, and they're trying to figure out a way.
I'm trying to fly beneath that right now.
The radar. Well,
you do security, I do finance. We all know what we're working for.
So let's just say this. This is a terrible idea for that.
In the same screen.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We actually should talk more about this.
I mean, I don't know who you are, sir.
I have no
Isn't
idea.
this a weird bus that we're on?
I don't talk to white people.
Oh, my God.
Me neither. Well, when I knew we were going to do the LA City Council thing, I figured, I would come in to be like the Latino representative because you need a more diverse voice on this podcast, I felt.
Well, I mean, they were making quite many shots.
Oh, there were.
They were amazing.
It was.
And first of all, someone, of course, was in that room recording.
Oh,
So they knew
100%.
this wasn't the first time she said something like
Oh,
that. So
no.
when she made that comment, like, I feel so embarrassed. This is the first time. I'm like, lies.
Oh.
As a Hispanic woman, lies from the devil.
And if you look at if you look at what she said, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but it was like that's somebody who is like, by the way, a lot of it, like the slurs that she used were actually racist,
Yes.
but a lot of it was frank political discussion about the way they carve things up.
So it was so that's why I think we're looking at the wrong thing. Everyone's talking about race. Everyone's talking about how they called that child a monkey in Spanish. What they're not talking about is how the power dynamics in that room, that they were carving up the city
Right.
for the elections. Because they were on the committee, which is more of an issue because people should be talking about what is actually happening when it comes to redistricting.
Well, when they start using term like the blacks, I'm like, in that context, the way she meant it,
Yeah.
she didn't mean that as a derogatory thing. She was like, there's a district that's primarily
For
one
the
thing.
blacks.
Now, the thing that I don't understand about why that's viewed as so horrible, other than the fact that it was somebody who wasn't black saying it, is that the black community in a lot of cities will tell you there is a black community,
black
and then
community.
and they will, not only do they acknowledge it, if you try to change something, they're like, hey, this is our neighborhood. These are our areas
It's
of the
much
city.
more difficult it's easier to find those on the West Coast because those communities are very segregated.
Sure.
Not as much on the East Coast as they once were.
Okay.
I mean, Harlem, like that's an easy quote right there
right.
of what it was. But now you have this gentrification moving in through Harlem, in through Washington Heights, that's occurring throughout the state, throughout New York City. You see that even happening here. West Tampa, East Tampa used to be very much Hispanics and blacks. And now because of gentrification, a bunch of hee-haws from New York are moving in, spending $700,000 on like a street where there's a crackhead in the corner.
Right.
Everyone's like, you're buying a $700,000 house with JoJo in the corner?
Well, because they know that the JoJo isn't long for this world. You know, like I don't mean that from a crack perspective.
I was gonna say because they don't know who JoJo is the reason why no one's bought that house in the corner.
And they'll just keep calling the cops, like unlike in the past, and they'll be like, no, I just paid $700,000 for this house. We're gonna go ahead and take that problem, go away, and they Karen until they do, basically.
Oh, they Karen. I love how that's become a thing.
Yes.
My undershirt is not showing. It doesn't need to show.
We're still live, by the way.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's why I've been talking, Anibal, because I believe we are doing what we know in the industry as broadcasting.
Well, as others have as my mentor, CNN host Chris Cuomo.
Okay. All right.
Once took off his shirt during an interview. I think it's called dead air.
That's yes, or blank space, also
yeah.
as is known. But I will tell you, I believe your charming personality, your bubbly on-air persona, more than enough to carry us through an audio feed. The video feed, it just lights out.
It is. It's completely. But I think what people don't understand that the conversations that we do, and I'm going to get serious. The conversations that we do have here actually mean something. Like these are a lot of our positions.
Yeah.
This is what we believe in, and we feel that we should have open and honest dialogues when it comes to these things. I mean, you perfectly are okay with landowners being the only ones that can vote, correct?
No. I think that I should actually be more exclusive. I like the landed gentry. Specifically, because every now and then, like a peasant will work so hard, like you let him have the cottage. Does that guy get to vote?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Listen, first of all, if you've got mud on your shoes when you go into the polling place, no thank you.
That is the first
No
test.
thank you.
The first test.
It's
mud on the shoes or a skirt. I mean,
Now-
we can leave it at that.
Now that sounds cold, right? But I have a plan because you don't really. At the end of the day, the problem isn't the fact that some of the uneducated peasants didn't get to vote. It's that they feel bad about it. So what you do is you just have one terminal that's not actually hooked up to anything,
Genius.
and then we just say mud on the boots. You go this way.
Genius.
Okay.
They're already
So-
sheep. They're
Yeah.
already going to go where they want to go. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say in other parts of the country, like Detroit or Atlanta, out of the 10, 8 are fake. But like other parts like Savannah and
Okay.
something like all of Mississippi,
Okay.
10 on 10 real.
I'm also going to say this: if you live within 50 miles of a river, we don't count your vote.
That's almost everyone in the country. Have you been to the middle of the country? It's Mississippi. I mean the river the whole way.
Hey, you picked Mississippi, not me. I want that on the record. I was thinking the Colorado. So
I was watching football the day that it's supposed to play football, which is Saturday.
Okay.
And I don't remember if Ole Miss won or not, honestly. I'm assuming FSU lost because God only knows they're having a tough decade.
I believe that I actually was hanging out with somebody who's a huge FSU fan, and I think that they did lose. In fact,
I won't be surprised. The Bucks lost. I was very disappointed in that as well. In the middle of Philadelphia, literally, you could see pigeons on the field. No, I was flabbergasted.
In Philly,
I was like, does Tim Brady get an extra bonus if he kills a pigeon on the field?
So
just straight beams it to the head.
So it's Tom Brady. But listen, hey, when you know him as well as you do, you can call him Tim. It's all right. But being from I've actually been a lifelong Eagles fan. Because I'm from near Philadelphia.
But like, is it Eagles or is it pigeons? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, you want me to tell you for real?
For real,
it's freaking Eagles, yo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's the Eagles. EEGLES.
Are there Eagles in Philadelphia?
No.
So then why do you call them Eagles?
Well, so because of the connection to the Capitol, the Constitution, our national bird.
300 years ago.
Okay, well, 300 years ago, a lot of things happened, and until I get to shoot everybody who disagrees,
we no longer had the Indians. We no longer have the Red Sox.
Well, let's face it. Even then, we didn't really have the Indians. We had somebody else entirely. We were like, you're Indians.
So, again, I would like to petition for us to rename the Philadelphia Eagles the Philadelphia Pigeons.
Okay.
Because they were all over the stadium the entire time.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But I will tell you a true quick factoid about the Eagles Stadium that rocks.
Say it before I lose my thought.
We used to have a courthouse in the basement of...
because you guys had such rambunctious fans.
It was the same stadium for the Phillies and the Eagles, and they actually, when they built the new one, they built an even bigger courthouse in this one, and there was a 60-minute special when that stadium opened, and they opened it. They had invited 60 Minutes out, and it was an Eagles-Cowboys game.
Oh, so a lot of people went to jail.
Oh, if you know anything about that rivalry, it's like... And I will say this, Phillies fans were the best and the worst. And by the worst, I mean we will throw rocks at Santa.
Yeah.
They literally threw batteries at Santa Claus one year. And children have been beaten up and assaulted for wearing other teams' jerseys.
If you think some parts of LA are bad, go to Philadelphia. The entire city is
if you're going to let your kid wear an opposing team's jersey to an Eagles game, I just have to say that's poor parenting.
I tell people all the time, Philadelphia is like some of the older, little villages in England. Like, you wear the wrong soccer outfit, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
like there are entire clubs that are not allowed to play because their fans are so bad.
Oh yeah. So this game.
Wait. Oh yeah. Real quick. So my comment, my favorite conspiracy theory right now is that birds aren't real.
Oh,
that birds are like these devices that are meant to. Have you ever seen?
You've seen drones, right?
Yes, I've seen drones.
Okay, now. Do you think that they would have revealed the presence of drones if a bunch of them hadn't fallen out of the sky?
No.
Hey, Lindsay, let's go ahead and just stop the whole